So there's a new interesting data point that came out from JPMorgan that could spell a very bullish scenario for altcoins and the crypto.com CRO token. And if you've been watching the price action for the CRO coin as of late, what you may have seen is this. The last 3 weeks have produced red candles. We are currently in the third red weekly candle right now and holding at the 23-cent level, but possibly slipping down to some of these lower targets at 20 cents, maybe down to 16 cents. But I have some bullish news that I want to share with you guys today, as we're generally seeing not a lot to the upside in these markets. A little bit more is showing a little bit red today. Let's get into CRO. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about this story from JPMorgan that could spell a very bullish scenario, signaling that altcoin season. A report just came in, and this is being tweeted out by Cryptos R Us, and I wanted to share with you guys. I think this is a very interesting data point that everybody should be aware of. Justin, JPMorgan says that history shows that Fed rate cuts with the S&P 500 close to an all-time high, which we just hit all-time highs for the S&P 500, lead to a strong 12-month return, averaging plus 15% for the S&P over the course of a year, which is fantastic. That's quite fantastic for the S&P 500. On the flip side, though, the 1-month performance for a Fed rate cut for the S&P 500 in this same scenario sees a drop in returns, meaning any short-term volatility should be seen as a chance to buy, not a reason to panic. Basically, what this information from JPMorgan is spelling out and what Cryptos R Us is getting at here is that there could be a dip coming after this Fed rate cut. This is the catalyst for altcoin season that we've all been discussing as a possibility for the last several years. And here we are in what is supposed to be the best moment of a bull market. Bull market. And we are seeing a 96% chance of a Fed rate cut tomorrow by 0.25%. So this scenario being laid out by JPMorgan is exactly what's happening. Fed rate cuts, well, S&P is close to all-time highs, leads in 12-month returns. You might be going, well, Crypto Kip, this is the S&P 500. What does this have to do with crypto? Well, guys, the Bitcoin price and the traditional market are still quite correlated if you look at the long-term trend. And I believe that Bitcoin will perform similar to the S&P 500 in the future, in that if you go by the S&P 500, you know it goes up on average 7 or 10% year over year. On average, I think it's 7 point something percent. And you know that up over time is the thing for the S&P. I think that Bitcoin's moving towards that increasingly. So now we see a lot higher highs for Bitcoin. We also see a lot lower lows, but over time, the volatility is getting less. And so what I'm saying is, for CRO, it could be following the same thing. Bitcoin could be following the same thing, where as we have high odds of this rate cut coming into the picture that we haven't had in a while, this could be that moment, like JPMorgan is predicting, where we see a dip before we see an explosion and an altcoin season to the upside. Now, as this volatility is playing out, guys, I am trading this, and I see a lot of other folks have been trading lately as well. On BitGenX, which it seems like a lot of people are signing up mostly for BitGenX as of late. I love Blowfin a lot. I use both of these exchanges. On BitGenX, there's up to a $100,000 deposit bonus, and on Blowfin, there's up to a $5,000 deposit bonus with a 10% trade rebate. If you haven't signed up for those platforms already and you want to check them out and trade the volatility that we've been talking about for a while, you can check those out in the description down below. The volatility of September, just average gains being negative percentage points, negative 3% on average in September. This all leads to what I'm saying is a potential dip down to 20 cents for CRO. We had excellent news that drove us to 37 cents, but we found resistance and we're having a natural retracement, and the news is all corresponding pretty logically right now. We are getting close to a total breakout, and look at that trend line that I was drawing on my live stream here. I'll get rid of that for you. We are getting close to a breakout for the total market cap, excluding the top 10 cryptocurrencies, to new all-time highs. This is the altcoin season you want. You need to see, like I was drawing on my live stream, it start to move up this direction, and it very well could be doing so in this kind of W pattern, and we might get a bounce kind of like that. That's what I'm hoping for. And for CRO, that could be something that you could be excited about. But as you do look at this total market cap, if it's following this trend that JPMorgan is talking about, here's the way that would play out for altcoins and for this total market cap in my mind. Just based on, understanding basic technical patterns. A W formation doesn't mean that this thing's just going to break out right now. It means that this thing could continue up here, maybe into this Fed meeting. We're going to pump, possibly. Have a little retracement, and then continuation to the upside. And again, nothing goes straight up, guys, but there will be volatility. And so this dip could be coming in September, and these are the monthly candles, so this isn't even the best spot to be drawing it. But the idea is that this could rally into this. Maybe we already had the rally. Maybe we're getting a September dip. Maybe September ends up a little bit red. And then we get continuation to the upside where Crowcoin can then find a bottom at 20 cents or 16 cents. Hopefully. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing here is financial advice, guys. You have to do your own TA, do your own research. But I believe that Crowcoin can easily achieve the $1 price level in the future. We've seen the CEO of Crypto.com, Chris Marsliak, coming out and speaking more and more about the utility, bringing more utility for the Crowcoin token. It's been a very optimistic time for the Crypto.com brand with all the partnerships that we've been discussing over the years. This is huge and great, but the real key is that we really get a true altcoin season, and you need to see these altcoin markets break out. And with the Fed rate cut coming here in September and into October, even with a 76% chance of yet another rate cut on the October 29th FOMC meeting, and on December 10th with a 69% chance that we get yet another potential Fed rate cut, we could see these markets rip, roar, and rally, just as JPMorgan is predicting here, just as we've been predicting for a while. But I still do believe that there could be a sell-off leading into 2026, which is why I am prepared for a sort of blow-off top moment and taking profit. And along all my moves on my holding portfolio, I'm trading this volatility because it is clearly a volatile market. JPMorgan is calling for it. We've been calling for it. I don't necessarily love JPMorgan as an institution because of the CEO and how he speaks negatively about crypto, but I do believe that the analysts from their team do have a point in the fact that the rate cuts are coming are very bullish for markets and crypto and altcoins, but this could be priced in. A little sell-off, a bounce, continuation to the upside. If you're looking to trade a potential bounce or a level of resistance that you might be looking at, you can sign up for BitConnect or Blowfin using the link in the description down below. If you haven't already done so, there are sign-up bonuses there for you to take advantage of and try some trading. You can do demo trading as well on these platforms. I like them quite a bit, but I'm very bullish on Crow. However, I'm still calling for 20 cents. And again, I can't possibly predict exactly what comes in the future, but I look at levels of support and resistance, and this is what I'm personally seeing right now in the charts. What are you guys seeing out there? Let me know your thoughts on this video and on this idea from JPMorgan of a potential dip after the Fed rate cuts, and let me know what your thoughts are on the Crow price TA that we went through in this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, DCA HODL, my friends. I got 2 videos for you right here. And as always, continue to do your own research. DCA HODL. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, y'all.